For more, we're joined now by Dr. Tomohiko Taniguchi, Special Advisor, Fujitsu Future Studies Centre, and former Special Advisor to the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Professor, thank you very much for joining us today. Mr. Ishiba, he's been facing pressure to step aside since his parliamentary election defeat in July, and he says he waited until now because he wanted to handle tariff negotiations with the U.S. first. I want your take on the timing of this. How do you think he's handled his exit, and do you think he should have stepped down sooner?
The nation is divided. The poll taken among the general public has been split. Some say that Prime Minister Ishiba has done a pretty good job, and others say that he's been wasting his time and the time for the Japanese politics. But Monday, today, there was a plan for the party members, parliamentarians to cast their own votes, deciding whether or not the presidential election for the party should be brought forward. And so that was effectively to be a vote for recall. Facing this imminent possibility, Prime Minister Ishiba had to accept the reality that there would be no future for him.
Speaking of that LDP board meeting that's taking place right now, Professor, what are the likely scenarios? Do you expect a consensus pick, a smooth handover? And who's in pole position right now?
Well, far from smooth. To answer your question, it's going to be very much a close call. The board meeting of the LDP is going to come out with a decision as to the scheduled plan for the presidential election. One of the conventional wisdoms holds that it's going to be 4th of October when the election for the party leadership is going to take place. And there will be 3, 4, even 5 or more prime ministerial contenders. And like before, like last year, 1 or 2 members of the LDP will be strong candidates. And that would include one of the female candidates, Ms. Sanai Takaichi, and Shinjiro Koizumi, a son to a rather famous previous prime minister. So those two will have a very much fierce competition, battle even between them.
Okay, so how might their differing visions reshape Japan's policy direction ahead?
One of the striking differences rests in their own respective views about fiscal policy. Ms. Takaichi has been known to be in favor of expansionary fiscal policy, whereas Mr. Koizumi is the opposite. Although he has said relatively little about macro issues such as macroeconomic management, but other candidates they are very much sure hands when it comes to policy implementations, but when it comes to the vision, there's a huge divide between Takaichi and Koizumi, especially about fiscal policy.
Professor, the Liberal Democratic Party, it has long governed Japan, but after the summer election, it now finds itself in its weakest parliamentary position in 70 years. You know, some are saying the party is in crisis right now. Was Mr. Ishiba the problem, or are there deeper structural issues at play here? What's next for the LDP?
I think jury's already out, and it has to be said that Prime Minister Ishiba has been a source of problems. As they say in the United States, 1 strike, 2 strikes, and 3 strikes, you're out. And the LDP under Prime Minister Ishiba has failed 3 major national level elections in a row. Lower house elections, Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly election, and the upper house elections. And Prime Minister Ishiba, i.e. the chief campaign manager for the ruling party, LDP, has refused to accept responsibility. That's caused a massive amount of frustrations within the party and without.
And Professor, Mr. Ishiba steps down only after clearing that major hurdle in the U.S.-Japan trade deal. But a deal is a deal. But when it comes to full execution, do you expect the political transition to cause any disruptions?
That's one likely scenario. However, some of the main points have been cemented, if you like, in the form of presidential orders. And so Prime Minister Ishida, for that matter, has done a relatively good job to be handed over to the next Prime Minister. And listen, whoever is going to be the Japanese Prime Minister, it's important for Japan to maintain a very much good relationship with the United States for commercial reason, for security reason, for political reason. And so the next Prime Minister has to make a good rapport with a rather difficult person named Donald J. Trump.
The far-right Japanese party, Sanseito, they made major strides in the last election. I'm wondering if they're viewing all this as an opportunity. How likely could the party take advantage of this political chaos and LDP's weak standing to perhaps gain even more ground? What do you think?
The LDP was in place for many decades simply because it was the only party in favor of the security alliance relationship with the United States. But in the course of those decades, LDP has become a very big tent or broad church party with a lot of different political orientations. And from within the party, the conservative wing that previously supported the Prime Minister Abe's administration have chosen to leave the party and gone to some unknown newly formed parties, including the party that you mentioned. The key question here is the next prime minister, the next leader of the LDP, will be able to bring back those voters who temporarily have chosen to leave the party. And many of them are actually young voters in their 20s and 30s and 40s. So the platform that the prime minister, the next leader of the LDP, has to show to the nation has to include some policy elements that would cater more to the younger generations rather than the elderly. And the frustration among the voters that the Japanese fiscal policy is very much in favor, disproportionately in favor of the elderly, has been one source of that frustration.
Pleasure speaking with you, Professor. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us today. That is Tomohiko Taniguchi, Special Advisor at the Fujitsu Future Studies Centre and former Special Advisor to the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.